Welcome to Auto Shop Showcase with Gary Gunn. Today's guest is John Cannon.
Whew, folks, let me tell you, I've got this guy that has nothing but gold in his pockets, and his name's John Cannon. This is Showcase, and we're showcasing John Cannon and the things he thinks about when we talk about the 3 Ps. And we talked about it before: the people, the processes that run the business, and the profits, and how those are all important. And we found the other day when we had an interview with a gentleman he said it's like the human body. They're just integrated together. And there's just not way to separate people from process and profits. It all flows together. So, John, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are and your background. And so the folks that are listening to this call and listening to this showcase event will have more appreciation for who John Cannon is. So, John, you got the mic, buddy.
Okay, thank you, Gary Gunn. Okay, I'm John Cannon, and I live in northern Indiana, actually Rolling Prairie, Indiana. Have lived here all my life. I started my business way back when. I can't remember when, but we started in a 2-bay Standard Oil station just because we loved doing mechanical work and pumping gas and meeting people and taking care of people. And we got out of the gas business. We built a nice new shop. We started out with the new shop. We only had 3 bays. After we did that, it went so well, we added on another 3 more, and that went so well, we added on another 2, and that building is still being worked today. I love the business. I put all my heart into it. Well, let's face it, it was the only thing in my life at that time. Well, it wasn't the only thing in my life,
Sure.
but it was the only thing that really got me fired up all the time.
Oh, good. And John, I know you love people, and people that, whether they're customers or whether they're just people you meet on the street or whether you went to a restaurant and you talk to somebody. I think knowing you over the years, it's just like you just love people, and that made a big difference in your business, John, because that permeated through the atmosphere inside the building, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Because the only reason we were put here to begin with is to care for one another.
Yeah.
And I think I believe, well, I know I believe in that 100%.
Sure. So the first question we talked about, John, I know there were some morsels of gold, if you will, or gold tablets that about the people side. So what is it you would share with the folks listening to this call of maybe 2 or 3 things that you found about people that were that you want to tell somebody, that you want to share with these other shop owners? So what are those things, John?
Well, one thing for sure, it's not always all about the money. You have to you just have to love people, and you have to help them to grow. If they see that you're helping them to grow, send them to school, buying them the tools they need, just really loving it.
Okay.
And I believe that's what it takes. You have
So it sounded like you were pouring your love into them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they give it right back too.
Okay.
And I don't know, it works like that. You give them the love and they give it back. Now, if you find somebody, now granted, we had people, you'd give them the love and you'd give them the money and you'd give them the job, and they would kick you in the face.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen very much, really. You get people like that, you got to get rid of them real quick because they don't fit. They don't fit the recipe. There's no way you can get along with people like that. You have to find people
yeah.
that care about each other. Wouldn't you
Okay.
say?
It's not an I. There's no I in team, right?
Oh,
And that's what I'm hearing from you. You know, they got to play on the team or they don't fit.
that's it.
Yeah.
We're all one. We're all trying to do
Right.
the same thing. We're all
Right.
trying to help people. We're all trying to make a living.
Yeah. 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 So is there anybody that you ever hired, John? I know I heard the story about you hired your gal and the gal that worked in your office and did your bookkeeping in your happy hooker one time inside your tow truck. I
Record.
heard that story. But the other guy that I think
Yeah.
is important is JJ. I know he's a technician. This is one of your key people. How long's he been with you and why do you think he stays?
JJ is still there. And mainly he loves the business. He loves what he's doing. We treated him with the utmost respect.
Okay.
Gave him the tools he needed. He was probably one of the greatest technicians that I've ever met. Was he the quickest? No. Was he the best? Absolutely, he was the best. When he got done with the car and he said that car is fixed, it was fixed. It wasn't one of those deals where it wasn't fixed.
Okay.
But we also had, like the lady you were talking about, Susan, our bookkeeper. She was bookkeeping for us. We hired her in the wrecker one cold winter day, and she kept all the books for us and everything. And we both had the same idea about business. You have to treat people the way you expect to be treated.
Okay.
And it worked for us. And then there was Georgine, and Georgine is still there today. She's been there over 20 years. I don't know exactly how long. And now there's actually, and she's a service advisor. There's actually 3 service advisors, but she is the main one.
Okay.
And she still does a fantastic job. She still got the fire in her.
Wow.
And man, I tell you, it's great. You know, even that I don't own the shop anymore, I go in and I say I go in and just play around and see the differences. Businesses are different today. The way they go, I think, and I think people are different also on what they expect and so forth. Now, I could be wrong there, but that's just what I see.
Okay. Well, you know, that's a good perception. And you know, our parents, John, and you and I are fairly the same age, and they probably thought we were going to turn out pretty bad also, right? And our new generation was not worth a hoot, and they didn't do this and they didn't do that. So maybe it's just part of the generational change, generational process.
I guess.
You know, we do a timeout on this earth, don't we? We have a specific time, and we'll time out one day and we'll be gone.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's just, you know, my parents are gone, my grandparents are gone, you know, other people are gone. That's just part of life.
Yeah.
So man, I love what you share with the people side. And you know, some shop owners I talk to think about the people or the customers that are coming in the door, but what you're talking about is taking care of your internal customer, aren't you?
Absolutely.
That's the Georgines, the JJs, the different men and women that you've had come through there that maybe decided this is not for me and left to do something else, or they decide, you know what, I like this guy John, I'm going to hang around here, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
So when you're interviewing somebody and you're saying, okay, does this person fit our culture at Cannon Automotive? Does this person fit? How would you determine that? What are some of the key factors?
You have to find out about that person. You can't just get their name and address and how much money they want to make. You have to sit down, spend time with them to find out if they will fit. There's so many things that are involved with actually fitting in. You know, maybe they don't want to work 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. They don't want to do whatever it takes. They only want to work that 8-hour day and be out of there with their benefits and so forth. And, you know, and you have to, it takes time. Interviewing, your interviewing is it's kind of like an art.
Okay.
You have to paint that picture of that person. Where's he coming from? Where is he actually going to be heading for?
Okay.
I think that's important. And, you know, you really have to dig in deep.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't think of any questions, just one question that's going to do it for you. You're going to have to come up with those questions. How are you going to find out if this guy's real?
Okay.
You know, if this is a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And it's if we're really good at interviewing, our good friend says we're 60% right and 40% wrong. Well, if we're really good at it. Now, knowing me, I'm probably about a 50-50 guy. You know, I'm pretty good at selecting, but I can miss 5 out of 10, right? It's hard. It's a hard thing.
It's hard.
For sure.
It's hard.
Yeah. So we know people are really some of the greatest assets you have in your business. It's not your building or your property is an asset, but your people, to me, is the biggest asset.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they'll take care of your building for you. They'll take care of your property if they're the right people, right?
And you take care of them too.
That's right. And you're taking care of them. So they take care of your business and your customers.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now, John, you and I talked about SOPs in the past. We talked about written processes, and how important have you found through the years where a process is something that's taught and followed in your business? And how would you tell somebody you got to have processes? What have you learned from that?
Well, you know, when we first started, we didn't have any processes. We'd take them in and say, oh, okay, here's the way you do a lube oil and filter, you know, and I expect you to get it done this way. Well, that don't work too well, you know, or this is the way I want you to check in a customer. This is the way I want you to answer the phone. If you tell them and show them, that helps. But if you get every single process that you're doing, answering the phone, taking in a customer, repairing a tire, doing a lube oil and filter, doing a tune-up, doing an inspection. If you have all those processes and procedures in place, and you guys actually study them together, you don't just throw the book at them and say, here's how we do it. And we study them. But no matter what process or procedure you have, if you're not doing it yourself, don't expect your employees to do it.
Yeah. Don't do what I do. Do what I tell you to do, right?
Yeah, right.
That goes over big, doesn't it?
Never did for me.
No. And you know, I think I had an interview with Andy Arndt the other day, and he said he likes to call them SORs, which are standard operating routines instead of standard operating procedures. He says it's sort of like it's a lot easier for someone to swallow to follow a routine versus a procedure.
In today's world.
Yeah, he says he finds that to be more palatable.
Okay,
So I like SORs. That's okay with me.
it
And
works.
I've kind of adapted that into my thinking as well, and even if they're not written, John, in your business, there's still a routine, isn't there? There's still a process.
Right.
Now, John will have his process, and I was working the front counter with John. I'd have Gary's process, and John would have John's process, right? And then Georgine gets hired, and now we've got 3 processes running up front, but none of them are the same.
And to me, that don't work.
No, it doesn't work. Customer doesn't know what to expect.
No. Exactly.
And John, we don't know which one is working the best.
Exactly.
Yeah. So any other golden nuggets for processes that you've found over the years? And I know you train them and you study them together continuously, right? If you don't write them because they're worthless.
Right. If you write them and put them in a big old thick book and then throw it under the counter, that won't work. It won't work at all. You have to use them constantly. And I think, Gary, you probably taught me this more than I knew, but you have to have daily meetings, 10 minutes every morning with what's going on, what's going to go on, what happened yesterday, what's going to happen today. Then you also have to have that weekly meeting where it could be an hour or it could be 45 minutes. And you can go over these processes and procedures and maybe some of the rules about working at whatever business it is you're working at.
Mm-hmm.
But those meetings, to me, that's like having dinner with your family. When you have dinner with your family,
yeah.
what do you talk about? You talk about, well, what's going on? How are we acting? We need to replace that. We need to do this. Whatever it is. And we'd always do it like during our lunch hour.
Okay.
Maybe you're going to buy them chicken nuggets or whatever.
Right.
Buy them lunch and have your meeting at that time. Now, is this something that is mandatory? Well, it was for me. It was mandatory that I did it once a week.
Yeah. The consistency, John, is what we're talking about, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And especially, just like your 10-minute first thing in the morning, man, that can really make some good business. Fire people up.
Yeah. Hey, that's what we are as a team, and that's how we have to act. Okay, we've covered the first 2 P's, the people and the processes. Now we're going to get to that big old word called profit. It's not a sin. It's not against the law. It's not against anything to make a profit, right?
That's for sure.
So, John, what can you share about profits you've learned through the years?
You better be getting them.
That's a good one. Better write that down, folks.
Because, the profits, I remember when I first got in the business, I used to think, well, that's too much. Or
what you ask the customer to pay for it, right?
Yeah, I had trouble, and you caught me on this many times. Oh, you're going to wow yourself there? You're going to wow what you're charging? And I did. But when you sit down and you figure it out, well, I have to have 60, I have to have 70, 75, whatever it is, you set that and then you use that as your guideline. And if you
Yeah.
do that, then you'll have money so that you can give raises when they're
Mm,
due.
yeah.
You can also take care of your business buying the latest and greatest equipment so we can get the
Mhm.
job done and done
Right.
right. And you can keep your business up, keep the floors clean, keep the windows clean, just have a beautiful location. You
Mhm.
have to have that profit for all of that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, plus you can make a real good little nest egg for yourself
Sure.
with
Absolutely.
profits.
Yeah. Yeah.
We used to take out so much every month for retirement,
Okay.
and that really makes a big difference. You got to
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
profits. Got to have profit.
Yeah. So we know the people formula, the process formula for John, and the people formula for John. If there was one last thing, you might jump out of the three P's, but you might say, wow, I want to share this. So they may not have heard this, they may have heard it 100 times, but if there's one last thing that you can share, anything about the business that you think would be a benefit.
I've said it before, love your people and love what you're doing
Yeah.
and care for your people, customers, and internal customers, external customers, care for
Right.
them.
Right.
If you do all of that, you care for your people,
Mhm.
the profits will come,
Yeah.
the money will come, and it'll just keep on coming. I was very, very fortunate. Um, Back a few years ago, I was able to sell my business to my son-in-law,
Yeah.
and they're in it now, and my daughter's in it with them,
Okay.
and they're pretty much carrying it on the way we did. When they first took it over, he thought he could change some of the ways that, we were just doing too much for this or that, and he
Yeah.
didn't have to do that much. Well, he found out early that
Yeah.
some of the things we had going, we better keep going, because
Okay.
that's, and one of the biggest things, like I said, caring for the people,
Yeah.
internal and external customers, caring for them,
Yeah. Yeah.
and loving the business. If you don't like the business, if you're doing this because of the money or because your daddy or your mommy told you to, I'm not sure that's going to work. You
Mhm.
have to love it, man. It's got to be in your blood.
What I'm hearing from you, John, is you had passion for people, or you have passion for people, and
Yep.
that passion rubs off on your people.
Oh
You
yeah.
you don't have to get on the soapbox and shout and holler. They see it in you,
Hmm.
and if they have the same passion, they're going to work for you. If they don't, they're going to leave.
That's it.
Yeah. So when I'm hearing that word passion is inside of John. Strong. Now, where you got it, I don't know, John. You were probably God-given gift was passion. He gave you that inside of John, right?
I where did I get it? I got it from people like you. Um, so many of my trainers. I didn't just do everything my way by a long shot. I had
Yeah.
several trainers. Um, Remember we used to have the shop tours
Yes.
where we'd go here or there or wherever it was, and we got to meet some of the greatest automotive people in the world just by
Yeah.
going around to different shops and seeing how they did it. How did they make it work?
Hmm.
can I make that work at my shop or whatever? And that really helped me. going around.
I agree. So John, thank you for sharing your wisdom, your passion for this business. Whew, boys and girls, if you didn't get some nuggets out of John Cannon, then you missed the boat. The boat just took off. You didn't have any oars in your boat, and you just floating around out there. This is a man that's lived it. He drank it. He had passion for it, and he still does. This is Showcase. We're showcasing John Cannon in the 3 Ps. Thank you all for being here, listening to this telecast, whether it's on a podcast or whether it's on a YouTube channel. It's Gary Gunn signing off. If you want to contact us, very simply go to autoshopshowcase.com. That's autoshopshowcase.com. Go to our YouTube channel, go to our Facebook channel, or call me direct, 270-282-1262. Hope to hear from you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Like and subscribe to Auto Shop Showcase on YouTube and your favorite podcasting platform. Visit autoshopshowcase.com to sign up for monthly mentoring with Gary Gunn.